Hello, I'm Jim Danko, president of Butler University. I am extremely pleased to welcome all of you, parents, family, friends, and especially our new students who are joining the Butler community. Every one of our new students has worked hard to arrive at this moment. I congratulate you on your achievement, which have earned you a place within this outstanding entering class. I know that everyone here at Butler will do their utmost to help you succeed academically, professionally, and personally. Parents, this is also an important milestone in your lives. As the father of two grown daughters, I have some sense of what you are feeling today. Please know that all of Butler's faculty and staff are committed to helping our students succeed. We wouldn't be in this profession or at this particular university if we didn't feel that way. Many of us are parents. All of us think as parents do, in our desire to create a caring environment where young people can grow as critical thinkers and as well-rounded human beings who make a positive impact on the world. The Butler University Convocation is one of the highlights of the academic year. Its name, Convocation, its purpose is to convoke or call together our incoming class in a formal ceremony. Well, certainly the notion of together has taken on a whole different meaning as we confront a pandemic and gather in a much different way, not only here, but in our classrooms and other places across campus. While this may be a different type of convocation from the past, it is nonetheless a time of celebration. It is also a calling together in a deeper sense. Your Butler years will change your lives forever. Your intellectual growth will transform you. Your teachers will challenge you. Your service projects will humble you. And last but not least, your classmates will change you. While you are not sitting with them today, your togetherness with this diverse group of people will teach you more about yourselves than you ever dreamed possible. Indeed, Butler provides a unique opportunity for you to develop and apply your individual talents and abilities in pursuit of your personal goals, but you are doing so within an environment that is collaborative by design. For it is that togetherness, the Butler community, which will support and enrich your education upon a foundation of a shared set of values. Both in and out of the classroom, your professors and peers will at times expose you to ideas, beliefs, and experiences that are unfamiliar or that conflict with your own. Quite frankly, if we are doing our jobs correctly, you should experience a degree of discomfort on occasion in the course of your education as your viewpoints are challenged. You are beginning your college years during one of the most turbulent periods in our nation's history. Today's convocation has me reflecting back on my own first day of college at John Carroll University in Cleveland, Ohio, back in 1971. The 60s and into my early college years stand out as a period of great unrest and divisiveness in this country, marked by opposition to the Vietnam War, the Civil Rights Movement, and tragic political assassinations, including that of Martin Luther King Jr. At the same time, a younger generation challenged the system through social activism on college campuses, including a call to address the racism that was so evident within our country's institutions. The generational divide was exemplified by a common expression during that period, which was, "Don't trust anyone over 30. Today's social media version seems to be, "Okay, boomer." Well, I guess the wheel has come full circle. Getting back to 1971, in July of that year, our nation ratified the 26th Amendment to the United States Constitution, which established 18 as the minimum voting age. And so I cast my first presidential vote during my college years, something you will also have the opportunity to do this year. So let me ask you, do you plan on voting in this year's presidential election? Do you have a strong opinion about who you want to see elected as president? First off, I strongly encourage you to vote. This is a new right for you, one that you should not take for granted. Second, I can assure you that while you may feel strongly about who should be elected, there are others within this community whose opinions are diametrically opposed to yours. That's an absolute fact. But being challenged during the course of your college education is indeed essential as you develop the critical thinking and discernment skills which will serve you well throughout your lives in a world filled with conflicting perspectives and strong opinions. Your stay at Butler is an ideal time to develop your ability to adapt, accept, reject, or experience a diverse set of ideas. Because we value such growth, we hold to the principle of free speech on our campus. Each person has a right to express their opinions in a civil manner. Even if you disagree or find that person's beliefs unpalatable, it is important to acknowledge their right to express them. Likewise, we hold to the principle of academic freedom. This tenet of higher education is centuries old in our nation and one that we deeply respect. We are committed to seeing that our faculty have the protection they need and deserve to deliver an effective education. I also want to assure you that we understand there is a line between the discomfort you may feel on occasion as part of your education and our responsibility to provide an environment that does not tolerate discrimination based on race, religion, gender identity, or political beliefs. Let me underscore that point. This university will not tolerate racism or any forms of discrimination. The historic legacy of Butler University has its origin in its founding mission of 1855. 5 years before the outbreak of civil war that divided our nation over issues of slavery, Ovid Butler and other community leaders established Northwestern Christian University, the forebearer of today's Butler University. Central to its unwavering sense of purpose was the fundamental belief that education should be available to all, regardless of race, gender, or religion. It is now 165 years since our university's founding. It is 158 years since the Emancipation Proclamation. It is over 50 years since the social upheaval experienced by my own generation as college students. But yet here we are in 2020, welcoming a new class of Butler students, and our country is still confronting racial and economic disparity, something that has become painfully evident these past few months with the intersection of a global health crisis and significant civil unrest. And so, along with the amazing education, friendships, and yes, good times that you are about to experience, you have a significant opportunity, actually a challenge, to use your togetherness as Butler's newest incoming class of students to help this university live up to its history and founding mission. You are now part of Butler University, and Butler will be a part of you, sharing in our collective responsibility, even in the face of any difference and disagreements, to finally address long-standing issues of injustice and unfairness that have so harmed our togetherness as a nation. Knowing your achievements to date and the talent of this new class, I am more confident than ever in our ability to succeed. Welcome to Butler University. I'd like to just take a minute to make some introductions and share some final thoughts with you if I could. My wife Bethany and Daisy, welcome. Daisy, come here. Hi, honey. All right. Say hello to all of our new students, Daisy. You know, you're going to see Bethany and myself and Daisy quite a bit on campus. Thanks, honey. We're going to try to get Daisy to move here and hopefully not mess up our video that we're making for you today. Daisy and I tend to walk campus just about every night. And as we learned over the last year or two, it's a great opportunity for students to come up and get to know us. So I certainly encourage you to do so. Bethany and I, we live right here on campus. We live in a house that's right across from Resco. So we really hear the noise and the energy of the campus and have very much missed it over the last few months. When we shut down in March, actually, Daisy, who was used to going in and out of the various student housing and buildings and so forth, pulled me in to see students, and she couldn't figure out for a few weeks what had happened to everyone. So she's going to be excited to have the opportunity to meet you. Bethany and I, too, we've lived with the quietness of campus, but now we're hitting that point of the year where we're going to start hearing the voices. And that's our student voices as they're walking by our house late at night, especially on Friday and Saturday evening. And we don't mind those voices. That's great. It brings energy. We're excited to hear you all. But there's also another voice that unfortunately, as a college president, you hear, and that's a voice in my head that's constantly saying, God, keep them safe. You know, I think it's a parents also. I'm sure your parents have talked to you about things to be careful for on campus. Certainly with the pandemic, issues of safety are so important. And I know even when I sent my daughters off to college, you know, that was kind of the parents' worst nightmare. What if something tragic were to happen? And often, I'm not even sure I was willing to confront that reality, but my job as president puts me in a position where I've got to take a few minutes to talk about safety on our campus and things that you need to do to take care of each other. To bring this point to life a bit, back in 2013, it was a move-in weekend here on campus, as it was at IU, and one of our local students who was going away to Indiana University, who moved in. Her name was Rachel Feed. She's right from Zionsville. She moved into IU that weekend. Typical weekend pre-pandemic, where no doubt she went out with her parents, did a little bit of shopping, and at the kind of appropriate time, her parents went back home here to the Indianapolis area and left Rachel there. Later on a Saturday of that weekend, Rachel texted her parents, "Thank you, Mom and Dad, I love you." She went off to a party. And unfortunately, about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, she fell down the steps in this house where the party was being held, and she died the next day. And that's quite a tragedy. I mean, that's the epitome of the worst thing that could happen. It's the worst phone call a president would make. It's absolutely the worst phone call any parent would want to receive. Those types of things, unfortunately, do happen on college campuses. You know, I've got to know that family well over the years. I've spoken with Rachel's mother, Angie, and Angie asked that I share that story with you all, and I've done it for the last few years as well. And the reason is that she wants to make sure her daughter's, what's happened to her daughter has some, value in terms of educating other students that are making that move and gaining their independence. This is the time of life where naturally you are getting some independence. You're learning to do things and you're out of your parents' view, capable of controlling your own lives. But how you take advantage of that is so important, and it's so important on a college campus. So there are a few things I asked Angie, and she asked that I share with you. For one, go out on the web and look for rachelsfirstweek.com. In it, they tell the story of Rachel, and they have a number of educational portions in that website that you should take a look at that provide some guidance to you about safe practices on a college campus. So that's very important. The other point of that story is that, we as university administrators, we do everything we can to try to keep the campus safe. But unfortunately, we can't be in those student houses or fraternity houses, at sorority houses at 1 o'clock in the morning. And that's when this type of an event happened, and other events similar to it could very well happen. So that puts the onus on you to help each other out, to take care of each other. So I'm going to ask you to do a second thing. I'm going to ask you to think about intervening. Because in Rachel's case, perhaps if somebody had intervened, when she fell down the steps, her friends didn't realize what was wrong. They put her to bed, and it wasn't until the next day that they found her, that she had died. If somebody maybe had intervened, Rachel would be with us. So that really underscores the importance of safety for you taking care of each other. So I'm going to ask you to pledge to do that if you don't mind. Another thing that I also want to underscore, in this pandemic, over the last few months, we have worked diligently coming up with pages and pages of policies and procedures and thinking through everything we could possibly do to make sure that we have that social distance that's so important, to make sure people are wearing face masks that are so important, to make sure that you're using best practices in your student housing units, in our classrooms. I really want you to make sure you're paying attention to that information. It is so important for safety. One other point that I think many of us are worried about in my position is the fact that your particular age bracket, and I remember this as I reference my own college years, we think we're kind of invincible. We're not so sure that this health issue, this virus is going to hit us, and it probably won't. However, there are people amongst you, some of your new classmates, that do have health issues. They have compromised immune systems. They have any other number of underlying health issues. And they might not want to be too public about it. So really your responsibility is as much to them as it is anyone. So I'm going to ask you again to be mindful of it. It's no different than practices when you're at parties and other things that you need to do on our campus. You need to be mindful of each other. So I'm going to ask you to make this pledge to watch out for each other. It's part of the Butler way. Now, in the past, when I've had this auditorium filled with people, I would ask our students to stand up and wave to their parents and let them know that they heard my words of advice. I'm not sure where you are right now in relation to your parents, but at some point in the next 24 hours, I want you to let them know in some way, shape, or form that you heard my words and that you've taken the pledge to intervene and make sure that you do everything possible to keep each other safe. Thank you very much. Good luck with your first weeks here at Butler University, and enjoy the next few days.
Hey everyone, Evan here with the official mascot for Butler University, Butler Blue the Fourth. And just like you, he's pretty new around here. But don't worry, he moved in a week early to get the lay of the land. So he's got 3 videos coming your way to help you have a strong start to your school year. For your first video, do you want to do your top 5 favorite spots on campus? Let's go.
At number 5, the mall. There's no Jamba Juices or Hollisters at this mall. Just think of this as the main hub of campus. It's the perfect location to study outside, lounge in a hammock, or throw the ball around. Nailed it. Number 4 is Holcomb Gardens. This is the literal reason for the existence of the hashtag #BeBeautiful. It's the perfect place to unwind, relax a little bit, or, step up that Instagram game. I know your phones are right there. Go ahead, give them a follow. As a prestigious collegiate campus, we do have our share of breathtaking pieces of outdoor artistic expressions, or statues. But number 3 goes out to just the Bulldog ones. Would you just look at them? Number 2 is the Butler Bookstore. Located within Atherton Union, this is your one-stop shop to becoming officially official. All of the latest Butler U and Butler Blue 4 merchandise can be found here. Your books can also be found downstairs. You don't want to be that one person walking around campus wearing another college's gear. That makes Blue sad. And number 1, the iconic, the illustrious, the historic Hinkle Fieldhouse. Voted the best arena in collegiate basketball history by many, this is a highlight of campus. And from the crow's nest to the dog pound, there is literally no bad seat in the place.
Stay tuned everyone, because coming up next is a topic near and dear to our little buddy's heart. Food.
Hello, my name is Kate Morris, and I serve as Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs here at Butler. On behalf of the Butler University Board of Trustees, it is my honor and privilege to proclaim the opening of the 2020 Butler University Convocation and to welcome you, our new students and your families, to Butler University. Convocation is designed to be a joyous occasion, recognizing the moment that you become official members of our campus community, whether as students, parents, or other family members. And although out of an abundance of caution, we're not holding this year's convocation in person, it's no less joyous, no less momentous of an occasion. We are truly delighted to welcome you to our community. Let me begin by telling you a little bit about myself. This academic year is my 25th year at Butler University. For the first 16 years, I served as a professor in the Department of Psychology. Since 2012, I've served in a full-time administrative capacity as Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs. This means that I have the honor and the great responsibility to ensure that we offer the finest academic experiences possible to our students. In this role, I work with President Danko, my fellow vice presidents, our academic deans, and our faculty to carry out our institutional mission of providing transformative educational experiences to you, our students. In addition to being an administrator, I retain my faculty status and sometimes teach courses like I did this past spring. My husband is also a faculty member at Butler, and one of our 2 children is a student here. I share these details because I want to convey to you how deeply committed I am to this institution, and I consider my work not only from the perspective of administrator and faculty, but also as the mother of a current student. For those of you who are new to the Butler community, you will learn quickly that Butler is full of faculty members who, like me, are dedicated to the intellectual and personal development of our students. Students, your faculty will play a very special role in your lives, not only during your time here on our campus, but for a long time thereafter. Our faculty will be your professors, your academic advisors, and your mentors. They will challenge you in the classroom, support you as you seek out what we call high-impact educational practices, like undergraduate research, or study abroad, or internships, or other forms of experiential placements. I know you will develop lifelong connections with some of your faculty. They will care deeply about your success, academic, professional, and personal, and they will want to hear from you after you graduate. Today, opening Convocation is one of 2 formal academic ceremonies you will take part in at Butler. The other is commencement. It may seem odd for me to bring up your final day on campus on your very first day as a Butler student, but I think it's good to begin with the end in mind. When you graduate, you will walk across a stage that we build in Hinkle Fieldhouse to receive your diploma and shake the president's hand. You will then be ready to leave here with a degree. But I want to tell you a secret. Your diploma is meaningless. Your diploma, your degree, won't get you a job. It won't make you money. It won't make you a better contributor to society. It won't make you a better person or change your life, and it certainly won't make a difference in the world. After all, it's only a piece of paper. Your diploma, your degree itself, has very little inherent value. It is the education that your degree represents that's important. It's the education that you earn while you are here that is important and makes a difference. It's that education that makes you a better citizen, makes you a better person. It's the education that will make the world a better place and will change your life. It's interesting to think about, isn't it? A degree is not at all the same thing as an education. It's the unfortunate truth that pretty much anybody can get a degree. You can even go to a very prestigious institution and get a degree without getting an education. It's kind of like the difference between memorization and understanding. When you memorize something, you know it for a very limited amount of time. When you understand something, you carry it with you indefinitely. My hope for you is that during your time at Butler, you strive for an education and not just for a degree. I mean, sure, you want to get that degree at the end of the line, but it's not the degree that matters. It's the education it represents that matters. As you travel through your Butler experience, we will work with you to make sure you fulfill all of the requirements necessary to earn your degree. But it's up to you to make sure you get an education. And that's about more than just taking those specific courses required to complete your degree requirements. I hope these remarks give you some things to think about as you launch into this great opportunity to earn an education here at Butler University. Welcome again to Butler. We're glad you're here, and we know that you will make the best of it.
And now for a topic near and dear to Blue's heart. Food. Blue and I are here to show you where to get food and how to get it safely during the school year.
Let us start at Marketplace at Atherton Union. This is the largest dining hall on campus. And this year, when you come in, you'll be directed to one of 3 identical stations where you can either grab food to go or stay in with limited seating for all 3 meals. A pair of identical stations to the 3 at Marketplace can also be found inside of Resco. Now, let's talk about Plum Market. Alright, no more food puns. This is located right in the basement of Atherton Union. And Plum is the perfect place to pick up a quick meal or a snack on the run. Everything down here is made using simple ingredients, so just think of it as a natural grocery store with coffee, groceries, and made-to-order food right here on campus. And speaking of coffee, there are 2 more great spots on campus to grab that drink of champions. Starbucks is located right outside of the Butler Bookstore within Atherton Union. And of course, the Butler Brew. Located inside the new business building, it is named after that beautiful looking bulldog right there. Over in AV, it's Tripp's Corner Market. Shout out to Tripp! This is the spot for those living in apartment style living to grab some essentials for their kitchen. New this year is Prep 101. Think of it as Butler Blue Apron. And the Study Break Take and Bake. Both of these feed about 4, or like 1 bulldog. And to wrap it all up, new this year are 3 new mobile order stations. You can now mobile order at Starbucks, Plum Market, and the Butler Brew.
That just wraps up this video. Now don't forget Chatham Tap right behind me here. They do offer takeout, and their wings are remarkable. See you in a few minutes for Blue's Clues, his survival guide full of tips and tricks to help you through your first year here at Butler.
It is my pleasure to greet our new students and family members today. Welcome to the Butler family. We are so glad you are here. My name is Frank Ross, and I serve as the Vice President for Student Affairs at Butler. And as Dr. Morris is the Chief Academic Officer for the university, I serve as the Chief Student Affairs Officer for the university. This gives me the amazing privilege and incredible responsibility for our students and their lives outside of the classroom. During your orientation and welcome week, you will learn more about life on campus and the Butler student experience, which we refer to as BU Be Well, which focuses on the holistic well-being of all of our students. BU Be Well provides the foundation for a transformative student experience, and you will have many opportunities to grow, learn, develop, and become the best version of yourselves. Today, you are officially entering the Butler community. Please know with that membership comes great responsibility. Here at Butler, we work hard to build a strong, healthy, and connected campus community. And let me tell you what that means for you. We want all of our students to make healthy choices and to also encourage each other to do the same. Butler students have each other's backs, and they help anytime they see someone in need. This could involve stepping in to assist with a serious situation, but it also could include simple things like holding the door open for one of your fellow bulldogs, or letting someone know that they dropped money on the ground, or even letting someone know that they have broccoli stuck in their teeth. Of course, this semester we will all be wearing masks on campus. At Butler, we aspire to create and nurture a community where everyone feels like they belong. We are proud that our diverse community is enriched by students, faculty, and staff from many different backgrounds. We expect all members of the Butler family to be kind to one another, to serve as allies for each other, and to treat everyone with respect. This is what we do as Bulldogs. Butler is a very special place, and I am so glad that you've made the decision to join our community. I look forward to meeting you all throughout the semester.
Evan and Blue back with you one last time to give you some final tips to get you through your first year here at Butler. Let's call it Blue's Clues.
Blue's clue number 1 is to get creative with your study spots. You know, sometimes all you need in life is a new perspective, and the same thing can go for your schoolwork. So grab a blanket and spread out in Holcomb Gardens, or snag that secret study room in between floors 1 and 2 of Atherton Union. Just bring some headphones, you don't want to be that person. Blue's clue number 2 is to make sure you take care of yourself, both mentally and physically. So stay active. There are plenty of ways to get moving on campus. You can run along the canal, do some yoga on the mall, or if you're really brave, you could run the bell tower stairs. But then make sure you're partnering all of that with some good sleep. Sleep is love, sleep is life. Just ask Blue. And then of course, make sure you're finding some time to do the hobbies or activities in life that you love. You deserve it. And finally, Blue's last clue is to try new things. I know it can seem scary, but college is a time of change and growth. Say yes to that club that interests you. Expand your food palette. Pick up a new hobby. You never know where that interest might lead you.
Thanks everybody for hanging out. Blue and I just know you're gonna have a remarkable year, and don't worry, he'll be there right alongside you the whole time. So good luck, and as always, go Dogs!
Hello, my name is Lori Green, and I serve as the Vice President for Enrollment Management here at Butler University. And I have the chance to introduce all of you to each other. You're the newest members of the growing Butler University community. Many of you are members of the incoming first-year class, with almost 1,140 students joining us this fall. Almost 70 of you join us as new transfer students as well. By now, many of you recognize the Butler logo when it comes in the mail, right? Well, it's likely due to when we began communicating with you about a Butler education. We communicated with 248 of you for the first time during your senior year of high school. The majority of you when you were juniors, and yes, 35 of you since you were either an 8th grader or even younger. On average, you received 13 pieces of mail and 136 emails from Butler throughout your high school career. And as a group, you attended 2,289 official campus visits, including virtual presentations and meetings this year. 9 of you received a surprise visit from Butler Blue III, or Trip. And I'm excited to say that you were the first incoming class to meet our new mascot, Butler Blue IV, or Blue. 15 of you received a surprise virtual visit from him, and many of you have seen Blue during virtual puppy hours or Friday night game night. And I'm guessing most of you already follow him on Instagram or TikTok. And I just want you to know that mascot training has been going very well. Today marks an official transition. You've all moved from someone interested in Butler University to an individual who is now a member of the Butler family. Welcome. As a way for you to get to know one another, I want to share some information that was conveyed during your application process. Academically, you continue a strong tradition at Butler University amongst our entering classes. Over 40 of you joined us having achieved valedictorian status, and collectively, you earned a high school GPA of 3.92. Some 117 of you will also participate in the Butler Honors Program. Your academic strength is also reflected in the 23 Lilly Scholars who are members of your class. These classmates represent some of the most talented students from the state of Indiana. Your class hails from 610 different high schools. And geographically, you represent 37 U.S. states, D.C., and 12 countries from around the globe. One classmate who is furthest from Indianapolis is from Queensland, Australia, some 9,286 miles away, and she joins the Butler women's tennis team this fall. 17% of you identified as multicultural. 40 of you received the Dr. Morton Finney Leadership Award. This award recognizes students who have taken a leadership role promoting diversity and inclusion in their schools and communities. 58 of you are legacy students, with either your parents or your grandparents having attended Butler University. Over 165 of you in total indicated that you have close relatives or siblings who graduated from Butler. And 16% of you shared that you were a first-generation student. 44% of you shared that you're the first of your siblings to attend college. Almost 10% of you applied to 10 or more colleges or universities. Meanwhile, 6% of you applied to just one, Butler University. Through your applications, we learned many of you have pets, multiple pets, in fact, and that translates into 349 cats and 1,113 dogs that are joining the Butler family as well this fall. The most common cat names are Luna, Oreo, and Bella. Some of the most unusual cat names, Rumble and Tumble from the same family, Peekaboo, and Pickles. The most common dog names were Lucy, Charlie, and Maggie. And some of the most unusual dog names, Abraham Lincoln, Blue Jeans, and Kevin Bacon. And by now, you know that we believe co-curricular involvement helps to enhance a student's learning and makes a more holistically engaged student in person. A number of you, almost 120, will join Butler's first year and transfer students, Division I athletic programs here. A slightly higher number of you, almost 130, will find your home in the Jordan College of the Arts. We are excited to hear that before you came to Butler, many of your classmates were strong promoters for the welfare of others. A number of you organized walkouts in your school in honor of those lost in the Parkland shooting. One of you is the vice president of the Indiana High School Athletic Association Student Advisory Board and is a champion for athletes with special needs. This individual is also a radio anchor and talk show host. Many of you stood out as top philanthropists. As part of an Eagle Scout project, one of you organized the donation of 50 bikes and helmets to kids living at an Austin shelter for women and children. Another classmate gathered donations from local businesses to make 300 food bags to hand out to their city's homeless community. A member of the incoming class started a nonprofit called Soul Bros that has distributed thousands of pairs of shoes to youth in places near, such as Ohio and Texas, and further away, such as Ghana and Jamaica. This individual was flown to Los Angeles for a taping of the Kelly Clarkson show to highlight their efforts. One of you volunteered over 500 hours in the Indianapolis area. That's right here in our own backyard. Thank you. One of your classmates has already published a novel entitled Haunted, and yet another has been writing a science fiction novel. Some of your classmates are entrepreneurs. One classmate started their own company selling hand-tied fishing flies. Several of you have beat the odds. You've overcome struggles that you face personally within your family. For a few others, there are physical challenges to overcome. We also welcome many of you who are artists and talented musicians, dancers. We welcome a student who danced with Ballet Memphis for 6 years, who dances part-time with that company. Another student from Denver teaches dance at a local studio near her home, where this spring she helped with a spring virtual recital where a drive-in movie theater featured the performances. Please know there were countless references to leadership conferences, participation in community service, mission and service trips in the U.S. and abroad. And reading just some of your stories, I can't begin to tell you how excited we are to mentor, to teach, to support, and to champion your experiences and your ideas while you're here. Class of 2024, welcome to Butler.
Good afternoon. My name is Chris Gall, and I serve as Senior Vice President at Visit Indy. On behalf of the City of Indianapolis, it's my responsibility and my honor to say, welcome to Indy. Our city is fortunate and excited to have such a diverse, talented group of emerging leaders officially entering our community. As a proud Butler alumnus and a proud member of the Butler Board of Trustees, I'm happy to be here today in this dual role of Indy advocate and Butler advocate. Students, I know your cell phone is beckoning you. I know these screens, these visual shields, continue to take our attention elsewhere. However, I would like to ask for your unrenewable resource of time, your time to offer some perspective timely to today. I have walked in your shoes. I vividly recall arriving onto campus in August of 1996. In the pit of my 18-year-old stomach, I had butterflies, and I was anxiously trying to coax them to fly in formation. I tried desperately to hide my emotion from my mom, a single parent who raised me after my dad died. I recall hugging my mom goodbye, tears streaming down her face. Looking back now as a parent of two boys, I understand my mom's wave of emotion. Her tears were born out of her unconditional love, her emotional investment in raising me, and the pent-up anxiety of saying goodbye to me. My mom was recalling my first steps, the security of being under the same roof, and already missing the echo of my voice ringing out in our house. Students, in the coming hours and days, you will have to say goodbye to your parents, to your family, to your loved ones. My unsolicited advice to you coming through this virtual platform, please don't shy away from their hugs and tears, and don't shy away from your emotions either. Embrace them. Hold on to them. This goodbye will be a tough goodbye. Yet a true Butler bulldog is not afraid to show emotion. I believe showing emotion is a leadership characteristic. It means you feel, you care, and you love. Parents, I'm sure the growing anxiety of sending your loved one off to college is stirring up emotions. These emotions on top of our societal uncertainty and the pandemic grasping at our collective worry. From a City of Indianapolis perspective, and from a Butler trustee perspective, parents, I would like to reassure you, no matter how far your student will travel to arrive at Butler University, you have made a great decision. Your parenting instincts have once again prevailed. Your strong judgment on finding a safe, welcoming, progressive institution and city for your students will be rewarded in the years to come. As a Butler grad, an Indy resident, and a Butler trustee, and moreover a parent, you are sending your student off to a university that demands commitment, denies selfishness, accepts reality, yet seeks improvement daily. It's called the Butler Way, the Indianapolis Way. Please allow me to be bold. Students, there is no better city in America for you to spend the next phase of your life in, and parents to entrust your child to, than Indianapolis. There is no stronger higher ed institution to invest towards your future than Butler University. Much like Butler, Indy is often considered an underdog, yet has risen into the upper echelon of cities in the U.S. and arguably the globe. More than 40 years ago, city leaders had an ambitious vision to shed the nicknames of Naptown and Indianapolis. Today, more than 30 million people from around the globe visit Indy each year. They come to experience a city firmly standing on the national stage, just like Butler, an institution respected nationally. By nature, Indianapolis is hospitable. Our residents are quick to smile and authentic in their desire to help. There's even a term for this. It's called Hoosier hospitality. I witness this same palpable feeling each and every time I step foot anywhere on campus. Like Indy, inclusivity rests firmly as a foundation block of this university. In 1855, Ovid Butler opened the school on the very principle that everyone deserves an education, regardless of race or gender. This same inclusivity is found throughout Indy, ensuring our city truly does welcome all. More than 50 years ago, on the day that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was tragically killed in Memphis, Senator Robert Kennedy was in Indianapolis. In fact, Kennedy stood just 10 minutes from campus, speaking to a crowd of Indy residents, breaking this tragic news. He spoke of peace, love, and reconciliation. While other cities across the nation erupted in violence, Indy stayed united. This unity continues today, with peaceful protesting ensuring all voices are heard. Just like Dr. King and Senator Kennedy, the Butler and Indy communities are full of humility. And even though both Indy and Butler are humble, we have clearly both earned the right to brag. The Princeton Review placed Butler on its sought-after best colleges list, a distinction only 15% of U.S. universities receive. Travel and Leisure recently named Indy one of only 50 places in the world to visit, right next to Honolulu and Cape Town. And just like Butler's vibrant campus, there's a vibrant international city awaiting you, and it's in your own backyard. Over the next 4 years, Indy will host the NBA All-Star Game, the College Football National Championship, and yet another NCAA Men's Final Four. During your time at Butler, you can watch Hamilton in one of the city's 50 performing arts stages. You can hear Taylor Swift or Marshmello at one of our 30 live music venues. You can admire Picasso and Van Gogh hanging on the walls of a top 10 art museum. You can canoe along the White River. You can watch the world premiere of movies at the Heartland Film Festival. And when it's time to eat, there are award-winning chefs operating restaurants on par with what you'll find in New York City. In fact, the most underrated food city in the nation, says Condé Nast Traveler magazine, Indianapolis. Naptown? I don't think so. This city is wide awake. If you travel to Chicago or LA and ask someone, what do you think of when I say the word Indianapolis? They would swiftly answer, the Indy 500. Yet, we are much more than our famed race cars. If you were to ask the same person, what do you think of when I say Butler University? They would probably answer basketball. Yet this university offers much more than a popular team at Hinkle Fieldhouse. Like the Butler community, Indianapolis is full of interesting people shaping our community. John Green is an Indy resident, one of Time magazine's 100 most influential people in the world, an author whose New York Times bestsellers are racking up like the accolades of this university. Like Indy, the Butler community never gives up, always finishing strong. A perfect example of this happened when Butler graduate and 2012 Olympic runner Scott Overall found himself in second place, just steps from the finish line. His competitor confidently raised his finger, showing number one. Not giving up, Scott sprinted and caught the bragging runner, crossing the finish line first. This is emblematic of the Butler way, the Indianapolis way. At its core, Indianapolis is a community built on servant leadership, and Butler epitomizes this quality. Butler has the Indianapolis community requirement, ensuring students get out of the classroom and into the community to learn about real-world leadership. Butler fosters leadership, attracts leadership, and that is why you are here at Butler in Indianapolis. You are leaders in the making, and Butler and Indy will help shape you as you help shape our community. Like Butler, Indianapolis encourages experiential learning. When it comes time for you to land an internship, Indy will be ready for you. Collegiate sports are governed at the NCAA right here in Indianapolis, an organization that is continually looking for talented marketing interns. Pharmaceutical giant Eli Lilly's international headquarters are here in Indy, regularly employing Butler business interns. In fact, according to Bloomberg Businessweek, the #1 business school in the nation for internships is Butler University. A place only offering basketball? I don't think so. Once you hit graduation and look for a job, it will be Indy awaiting to welcome you into our workforce. One of the top 10 best cities to start a new career, says Inc. magazine, Indianapolis. The most affordable place to buy a home, per CNN, Indianapolis. The #1 city for new grads, says Career Builder. You're right, it's Indy. Naptown? I don't think so. Students and parents alike, your butterflies should fly away. You should feel utterly confident in your decision to attend Butler University here in Indianapolis. Daily, I have the pleasure of driving by the edge of campus on my commute to work. Peering at this place motivates me. Being here evokes a feeling of pride. While passing by Butler each morning, I'm reminded of a professor aptly telling me that respect is earned, not given. Respect is earned, not given. Daily, I'm reminded of a Butler professor teaching me the difference between empathy and sympathy. Each and every day I drive by Butler, I'm reminded of my wife, Catherine, also a Butler graduate, and the day she caught my eye on campus, and the time I proposed to her by the fountain right outside. Daily, I'm reminded of our two little bulldogs, our sons, Kanoa and Kai, who are learning the Butler way, the Indianapolis way. And as my mom ages, while driving by campus, I hold on to that motherly goodbye hug and think back to her tears of love. Each and every day, I'm reminded of how Butler has shaped me, prepared me, enabled me. I would not be here today without Butler University. If I say the words aspirational, visionary, understated, up and coming, passionate, and exceeding expectations, I could be describing Indy, or I could be describing Butler. And that is precisely why Indy is the perfect host city for Butler University. A special thanks to President Danko for inviting me here to speak. Parents, may your waves of anxiety be replaced with waves of peace, knowing that Indianapolis and Butler will protect, keep healthy, and care deeply for your kids, now our residents. Students, congratulations on joining the Butler family, a family that will be here for you throughout your entire life. Welcome to Butler, and welcome to Indianapolis. Thank you.
We'll sing a Butler war song, we'll give a fighting cry, we'll fight the Butler battle, Bulldogs ever do or die, and in the glow of the victory firelight, history cannot deny, to add a page or two for Butler's fighting crew beneath the Hoosier sky. We'll sing a Butler war song, we'll give a fighting cry, we'll fight the Butler battle, Bulldogs ever do or die, and in the glow of the victory firelight, history cannot deny, to add a page or two for Butler's fighting crew beneath the Hoosier sky, beneath the Hoosier sky.